Shams had this breaking news earlier today. I thought this was prophetic. This was really smart of him to say. He said, every day, we're closer to LeBron's decision.
Oh,
I said, now that is the revelation that we've been waiting for.
You know what that is, right?
I do. It was a revelation sensation.
Oh, yeah?
And he said it a few hours ago, so I'm going to break the news that we are now closer than we were when he said it to LeBron making a decision.
We actually may not be any closer.
I don't know if he's ever going to make a decision.
Right, and if he never makes a decision, then we're actually not closer, but I would expect that we are, in fact, closer, and I don't even know how to forecast it, and you were gone last week and for a couple of days, and Grandy and I did the whole thing, and it felt like, it wasn't going to be the Warriors, and it might be the Warriors again, and I really don't know where it stands, and just trying to watch, the Kalshi odds, and, the Warriors had ticked up, and then the Warriors had ticked back down, and Cleveland became an overwhelming favorite, a likelihood, and then all of a sudden, that's kind of ebbed as well, and Miami surged, and so I don't even really know where we are with the decision and what he's going to do.
Someone's messing with someone, for sure. I wanted to ask this question. Whichever team is getting, because I still maintain right here in my box that this has already been decided upon. I actually don't think we should say it that way when LeBron makes his decision. He's already made his decision.
It's the announcement.
I believe that, yes. He just has not announced it yet. And the timing of it or the other signings that might go with it or whatever, I don't know what the reason is. Or is it just that he loves his name out there as much as possible and he loves to control the public narrative of the NBA like he has for 2 decades? All of these things are pieces of it, I would guess, but you'll never convince me that LeBron James and who he is sits here today and does not know where he's going to play. What I want to know, because everyone's talked about all the secrecy of it, even those closest to LeBron don't know. And some of the teams are not even able to get in touch with LeBron. Oh, but Steph and Draymond can because they're personal friends. That was put out there today by Anthony Slater, and that may well be true. But what do you think about this? Whichever team is going to get him, do they know? Do they know right now if they are the team? And the premise is he knows. And if he knows, wouldn't it be helpful to his own next team if they already knew? And the deal being that they also had to keep it completely under wraps? Wouldn't that make sense? Why would it help LeBron's future if he knew where he was going to go? And that's just my opinion, but I believe he does. If he knew where he was going to go, wouldn't it make sense for him to give a little tip-off to the team that he's going to join so they could act accordingly?
You would think, but I don't know if he is officially decided based on, yes, I'm doing this. I do think that there are caveats in all of the different locations. And, yes, I'll go to Cleveland if you do A and B, and I'll go to Philly if you do this, or I'll go to Miami, or I'll go to Golden State. All the different things I believe that he would think about doing, making the decision. I think that all of them have caveats that go with them, and until those teams are able to do those things, and that's where the Frank Vogel piece for the Warriors becomes
interesting.
It's mildly interesting to me because he played for Frank Vogel, and now Frank Vogel is going to be on the Warriors staff, and so is that something that LeBron said, all right, this is one of the things I need. I need you to get Frank Vogel on your team.
I wouldn't say it's something that he needs, but I could see it. For example, let's go with the question I just threw out there. I'm not saying this to be true, I'm asking it, but let's say the Warriors did know. Let's say the Warriors knew. And maybe there are some caveats or whatever it may be, but let's say the Warriors are like, we know that we're getting LeBron. I love 2 things that have happened in the last 24 hours. One of them is, you know what? LeBron would, it's not a deal breaker, but he'd like it if Frank Vogel were a part of this. And the associate head coach job is open. So why don't we bring Frank in, because that would be something that makes LeBron comfortable. That's number one. But number 2, do you notice, and I think this is interesting, the Warriors are publicly under-promising. Will they over-deliver? I don't know. But why are we suddenly getting reports from Anthony Slater, who is dialed in? Why are we getting reports from him saying the Warriors are not confident? And they haven't been confident the entire time that they're getting him. Why would that even be Why would that be a story? And there's a piece of me that wonders if that's not what you do, because the Warriors could tell, fan base is starting to get a little anxious here. This isn't going well. The narrative is not going well. Let's start under-promising. And that way, if something does go wrong and we don't get them, then we've greased the wheels. But if we do, well, then everybody's pleasantly surprised. And look at us. We were able to get it across the finish line, even though you didn't think we would.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of been their whole approach the entire time. I don't think the Warriors have ever really given off the air, to me anyway, that they were going to get him. Yes, they're clearly in the mix for LeBron James. They don't know if they're the favorite or whatnot. And so you've been trying to do everything you can behind the scenes to figure out if that actually makes sense for you. And here you are, and we're now in week 3 of this saga, and we're still waiting to find out where he might go and what they might want to do. And the whole Anthony Davis part of it's kind of died down.
And I think that's another thing that's I don't know if interesting is the right word, but that's something to keep tabs on, because there's no deadline yet related to Anthony Davis. I know he can't be extended until August, but I don't really hear any buzz. And also, if I just look at it on its face, do I think Anthony Davis wants to be in Washington? I don't. Do I think that's a factor? I do. I know this is high-level, multi-million-dollar sports, but sometimes it is as simple as when you're a business and you've got an employee that doesn't want to be there, then that's not the ideal employee for you. And you might look to move that asset when people don't see it coming, because that is how you maximize the value. So I know Washington has said they're not trading Anthony Davis. Count me among those who are not sure if I believe that yet.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe it either right now, but you might get to a spot where you don't trade him till the deadline, because Anthony Davis is still going to be somebody who needs an extension. And if you are Washington, yes, you probably want to trade him because you're building a younger team and you've got Trae Young making big money and he's making big money, Anthony Davis. You probably don't want to pay both of them. So I think it behooves them to continue to make this rebuild about this year, but also next year and the year after. So yes, they're motivated to trade Anthony Davis, but it doesn't mean that it gets done right now.
All right, I got a question for you and for the audience, and we can open up our phone lines, 888-957-9570. We're sponsored by the California Office of Traffic Safety. Everybody has debated for years now as we arrive at this point. Do you push all the chips into the middle of the table and, quote-unquote, maximize the remainder of Steph Curry's career? Or do you push forward with a youth movement? It feels right now like the Warriors so far have done neither. And what if that is the plan?
Right.
What if the plan is, hey, let's just kind of ham and egg this to the best of our ability until these older guys retire, and then we will have all of our assets and flexibility, and we'll see what we can do then. I'm not saying that's the right plan, but what if it is the plan? And how would you feel about that if you're a Warrior fan?
I think Warrior fans already have kind of seen that as the direction, and some are okay with it and some aren't.